The lawyer's office was dark and quiet, filled with an air of solemnity and anticipation. Three siblings sat around a heavy wooden table, their faces etched with a mix of curiosity and apprehension. They were there to hear the reading of their father's will, a moment that would change their lives forever. The siblings were very different, each with their own unique personality and outlook on life.
Mary, the eldest, was practical and organized, always the one to take charge in difficult situations.
John, the middle child, was a dreamer and an artist, often lost in his own world of creativity and imagination.
And young Emily was full of life and laughter, bringing joy and light to everyone around her.
The lawyer, Mr. Smith, cleared his throat, preparing to deliver the news that would forever alter their futures. He had been their father's lawyer for many years, a trusted confidant and advisor. Mr. Smith was a small man with round spectacles, his appearance unassuming but his presence commanding respect. He looked over the will one last time, ensuring every detail was in order before he began. He knew the contents would come as a shock, a revelation that would test the siblings' bonds. Their father was a wealthy and eccentric man, known for his unpredictable nature and grand gestures. Mr. Smith began to read, his voice steady and clear, as the siblings leaned in to listen.
The will was standard in many ways, outlining the distribution of their father's assets. He left his house to Mary, a place she had always cherished and maintained. His art collection to John, a treasure trove of inspiration for his creative pursuits, and his investments to Emily, a foundation for her future endeavors. But then came the surprise, an unexpected twist that none of them had anticipated. The bulk of his fortune, millions of dollars, was to be given to the sibling who could solve a riddle, a final challenge from their father that would test their wits and unity.
The siblings gasped, their eyes wide with shock and curiosity. A riddle? What did it mean? Mr. Smith, the family lawyer, continued reading the will with a serious expression. Their father had left each of them a letter, sealed and marked with their names. The letters were to be opened at precisely noon the next day, a specific instruction that added to the mystery. Each letter would contain a clue to the riddle, a piece of the puzzle their father had left behind.
The riddle itself was written on a separate piece of paper in their father's unmistakable handwriting. I have cities but no houses. I have mountains but no trees. I have water but no fish. What am I?
The siblings were stunned. This was unexpected and they had no idea what to make of it. They looked at each other, their faces full of questions and uncertainty. Mr. Smith instructed them to return the next day at noon, emphasizing the importance of punctuality. He would oversee the opening of the letters, ensuring that their father's wishes were followed to the letter. Until then, the siblings were left to ponder the strange riddle, each lost in their own thoughts. They left the lawyer's office and stepped out into the sunshine, the weight of the mystery heavy on their minds. Their father's game had begun, and they were determined to solve it, no matter what it took. The next day, the siblings returned to the lawyer's office. They were anxious to open their letters. They hoped the letters would shed light on the strange riddle. Mr. Smith handed each sibling their letter. The siblings gathered around the table and opened their letters.
Mary's letter simply said, "Look closely."
John's letter was a single line of poetry. The world is a canvas, you just have to see it.
Emily's letter was a child's drawing of a map.
The siblings were confused. What did these clues mean? They spent hours discussing the clues.
Mary thought the riddle was about a map.
John thought it was about imagination.
Emily, the youngest, just wanted to play with the drawing. They argued and debated, each convinced they were right.
It's obviously a map. Look at the riddle: cities, mountains, water. It's geographical. This must be the key.
But Father always loved art. He said the world was a blank canvas. He wants us to be creative, to see the answer.
Maybe it's a game, like a treasure hunt. We just need to find the starting point.
Perhaps you could combine your interpretations.
His words hung in the air, echoing in their minds. Combine their interpretations? What could he have meant by that? The siblings were baffled. What did that even mean? They had never encountered such a cryptic message before. As they exchanged glances, a new thought began to dawn on them. Maybe there was a deeper meaning behind their father's words. They huddled together, discussing intensely. Maybe they weren't supposed to solve this alone. Perhaps the key was in their unity. Maybe the answer lay in working together, combining their strengths and perspectives.
Look, some of the lines on Emily's drawing are darker than others. Could this be a clue?
Wait, the lines form the shape of a heart. This must mean something significant.
It's our family. The heart symbolizes our family bond. The cities, mountains, and water, they're not real. They're representations of our journey together. They're the love, support, and memories we share. Every moment we've spent together is part of this inheritance.
The siblings looked at each other, their faces filled with understanding and newfound appreciation. Their father hadn't left a riddle to be solved, but a lesson to be learned, a lesson about the true essence of family. The true inheritance wasn't the money, but the love and unity they shared as a family. That was the real treasure. And with that realization, they knew they had already won. They had each other, and that was more valuable than anything else.